Hello dear friends, welcome to our new video. Today's topic is something that many of you have waited for. We will talk about personal boundaries, and my intention is that upon watching this video you can take immediate steps and take real action so that you set healthier boundaries and you know, get rid of the things that don't serve you and start living a more fulfilling life. First of all, I would like that we discuss why some people have difficulty in setting up personal boundaries and why for some people it is a bit easier. Well, it has to do with the way we were brought up, some of us, and it has to do with the perception we have about ourselves. For many people who have difficulty with setting up personal boundaries and, you know, taking care of themselves, and it has to do with saying no to other people, putting ourselves in the first place and telling ourselves that actually we can make other people happy if we are happy ourselves. For so many of us, we learned in our family from, you know, different kinds of media, even in school or from some other teachers, that it is selfish to think of yourself. You should be actually somebody who cares about the people all the time, and if you're you know, doing things for others, you're gonna be rewarded and it's gonna be all good for you. But actually we live in the world where very many people feel alienated, and the only way to thrive in relationships and to find actually allies and partners and true friends who resonate with who you are is to be first of all aware of who you are. And one of the ways to learn that is by setting up healthy boundaries and giving yourself space for exploring that, and giving yourself time to be alone and time to work in different also models of collaboration. Sometimes, you know, you thrive in groups, sometimes you need quiet time, sometimes you recharge your batteries with people who we call people in our cabinet. And all these things help you to actually figure out your boundaries. And I urge you to stop saying no, to start saying no to things that and people who don't matter to you, who you feel obliged to you know, respond. And instead of that, start saying yes to people and to situations and experiences that make you come alive. Because if you do that, you will aggregate, you will get more of those people and experiences, and your life will be like more playful and less stressful. So this is my short message to you. And now let's think about five steps you can take immediately and feel more liberated and, you know, set up healthy boundaries. First of all, important thing to consider is learning what your values are. And in order to do that, you really have to be, you know, true to yourself and honest with yourself, and you need to figure out, you know, you can pause the video and write down on a piece of paper or in your special notebook your values, something you will not compromise, something that makes you come alive, something that matters to you. And once you actually devote yourself to setting your personal boundaries, you will realize that all of those values that you buried, you know, for example, maybe it's creativity that's been important to you, but you'd never found time to pursue a hobby that is creative, that is like playing a music instrument or dancing or, you know, collecting stamps or reading more or walking in wilderness, whatever. And if you have creativity, for example, as an important value on your list, and it stares at you from the piece of paper, it will be easier for you to start saying no to experiences that diminish your creativity, and to start incorporating experiences that make you actually happy and creative. Another example that I want draw your attention to is it's not just about listing your values. This is the starting point. You should actually find the time for different activities where you can test those values. And it also means, you know, physical activities. It also means being in alignment with your body, not just your mind, because we all think too much and we are all working with technology too much. But if you allocate some time for different kinds of rituals, it may be, you know, quiet time and a bit of extra time for sleep, or you know, for some of you it's meditation or prayer or gratitude you give to life about all amazing people and situations and blessings that you have. All these things will help you to see what doesn't serve you more. And when you have this feeling of not accomplishment, but a feeling of peace, and really feeling okay with yourself, whenever you feel disturbed throughout the day, maybe a hectic, stressful, you know, day at work, or maybe something that happens on your family or relationship front, you will actually see, you will be actually able to process that emotion better and say to yourself, well, why is that? Maybe it's time to set my boundaries in this situation. Maybe it's time to renew my power and to, you know, refocus myself and remember who I am and what it says on my values list, and what it says, what my mind, heart, and soul say to me inside of me. So that's the first and most important step. The second strategy, the second step you can take immediately in order to, you know, regain your personal boundaries, personal freedom, is the feeling of, you know, analyzing and prioritizing your time. This means in reality seeing what is your most important task throughout the day, what is something that you want to happen no matter what. And in doing so, you really want to be focused on working with yourself and trying to be independent from other people's agendas, and you know, something that maybe your supervisors or teammates think it's important, but you actually don't have the say to do it. I'm not saying that you should be rebellious or disobedient. I'm just saying that in every activity that you're doing, you should look for part of yourself, not in the sense of taking advantage of those activities, but actually seeing and thinking and, you know, being very strategic how you can contribute to the success of a particular activity. Being strategic about your most important tasks also means that you are very clear to yourself, and you are, you know, I like to say, ruthless about things that have to happen every single day. For example, what sometimes I use as a technique in my planning time is, at the end of the week, I review all the meetings I'm gonna have and all the important, you know, bigger projects that I will pursue. I mean, smaller chunks of a bigger projects, and also because trainings and being, you know, in physical shape is very important for me, because I work long hours and I want to feel good energy, and I work with people of different kinds of energies, so I need to be very fit. I actually make a conscious effort in setting aside time and defining in advance. Sometimes it's, you know, on Sunday I define for the entire week when I'm gonna have the trainings. It can be running, it can be gym trainings, it can be tango. So I have approximate days when I do each activity. And if sometimes it happens that I cannot make it, I actually have a new term, a new time in my calendar, and I say, okay, you didn't manage to run today, but tomorrow, first thing in the morning or after work, you're gonna do that. And this helps me actually setting personal boundaries, in the sense of I'm not will go and have drinks with friends on when I need to do training, but I will ensure that I have drinks with friends and I connect with my friends at some other times, because, as Peter Drucker said, what doesn't get measured cannot be managed. Now I'm paraphrasing, but you got the point. And the third point I want to, third step I want to share with you that is extremely important for you to regain your personal power and set healthy boundaries in your life is to define what kinds of relationships work with you and what kinds of relationships don't work with you. Believe it or not, we may want to admit that or not, but some people are energy vampires, and some of you told me that actually discussing those things in our videos helped you actually, solving some challenges which you had with other people. Well, I would like you to reconsider different kinds of relationships in your life, partner relationships, family, siblings, parents, colleagues, close friends, and to try to define to yourself what is your role in that relationship and what is the role of the other side in the relationship. What do I mean? Well, sometimes people who have difficulty saying no and who have difficulty in gaining their personal power are out there for others. And we, if we are out there for others, we may neglect ourselves. And this is dangerous. So if you are being taken for granted and people call you when they have problems, but when you share some useful tips for them or give them advice, those people don't say thank you, or those people don't say, oh, you helped me so much, I would like to take you out for a dinner or for a drink. I mean, I'm not talking it should be reciprocal. I'm talking that the person should be aware that your time and your energy and your resources are precious. It's not just about them. And if you are in a kind of situation where other person takes advantage of you and you feel like as we say in Serbia, as an deflated balloon, as a balloon without air, after talking to those people, well, what do you get from that? I mean, maybe you want to feel like Meritor, like somebody who's helping others, and it's like feeling miserable, but you don't want that. Actually, strong people know how worthy they are and know how to regain their power, and you can do the same. It takes time, it takes courage, but I have been, very straightforward about some relationships, and I communicated my standards, and I told what is acceptable for me and not. And people who couldn't actually understand that are not anymore, part of my life. And sometimes it will be difficult to communicate with other people your expectations, I mean your standards, I wouldn't say expectations, but actually standards, how you operate in certain situations, because those people have themselves difficulty, to communicate clearly and to, express disagreement or to listen to other parties. And this is the topic for a separate video, phenomenon of ghosting, where because of the technology in relationships with some people, it feels like, oh, we are all so good friends, we support each other, we like each other, but actually we never had the time to get that extra coffee and to clarify what went wrong in our encounters and our relationships. And if you have that kind of situation, let it go. Empty the energy, release any negative emotions, any grudges you have, and leave, get that, as the name of one Spanish group says, vaya con Dios. Let them go with, their own way with God, as they say, and continue living your own life. So I'm saying this, that sometimes it will not be able for you to verbalize everything, but it's not that important. It's important that you feel free and that you feel that you are regaining power. One other thing I want to, emphasize for you is that when you start changing, and when you start communicating that you're dissatisfied with certain behavior, or that this is not acceptable, or you actually wanted to redefine certain situations, certain contracts, certain conditions, some people might say to themselves or even aloud, oh, okay, this is something new, we haven't seen you like that. And this is one of the strong indicators that you are changing, and that those who actually want you to succeed and those who actually will, support you in that process are people who deserve to stay in your life. Those who say, oh, this is something new, I haven't seen you like that, I expected you to be like you used to be. I had a situation recently where one person asked me for help, without asking how I am, what's been going on. And then I told that person that I need more clarification about one question that he had in order to be able to fully help. And the person says something like clarified actually, but it says like, well, I expected more from you, blah blah blah. So this is obviously manipulative technique. And I said, listen, I can help you in this and that way, this is what you should do, this is what I recommend you to do, etc. But if you make things clear, if we are clear about what we want, then I'm able to help only. I'm not a fortune teller and mind reader. And this was actually something that I said in a very polite way, as I'm always. But when people don't understand your clarity in communicating standards, or it's something new to them, then you definitely don't have anything to expect in that kind of relationship. Needless to say, that very person who was like at some point even like being grumpy, oh, you should have expected more from you, didn't say thank you to me. And this is a clear indicator to me that I don't want to have plenty of encounters and collaborations with people like that. Actually, not plenty, but not at all. So that's something very important to consider, right? And bear with me because my paper fell down. I just need to have a look at one thing. What is it about? Yes, thank you. Sorry about that. Yes. In communicating your standards and in communicating your new personal freedom, you want to show to people when they do something right and when they do something wrong. Why is that? Because if we don't know how to communicate feedback, we will end up getting whatever whatever is possible. But if we know how to communicate our standards, and if we know what we want, what we don't want, people will get used to actually being more clear and coherent in their encounter with us. So it's extremely important that you also reward behavior of people who respect your boundaries. Let's say I'm in a relationship where I need and I tell my boyfriend I really need to work on a weekend because I need to finish some writing, I need to finish some strategic documents, and I need my quiet time, which during the work week I didn't have. And but I would be able to see you at a certain period, during the weekend, and I let the person decide what exact time it will be, but I give him a longer time slot. And after that, it will be very, very useful that I thank the person for bearing with me and for being understanding and wonderful in supporting me, because I'm sure that that person wants a successful career woman next to him. And this is something that I'm using now as an example, but this is definitely I would approach a certain situation when I need to work long hours, and yet I care about the relationship with the partner I am with, and I want this relationship to thrive, because we don't get to have ideal circumstances. We don't get to, meet somebody important to us, somebody dear in the life when, there's no stress, there's no looming deadline or client work, etc., etc. Things happen simultaneously. We're like jugglers, and we don't live in vacuum. And many people forget that and wait for ideal circumstances, but no, you gotta be clear about who you are, values, your most important tasks, and relationships and relationship patterns that you want, and you want to reward good behavior, and actually try to modify, not to modify, but actually try to comment and give feedback about the behavior that doesn't work for you in other people, and to suggest that instead of that you actually better resonate. But you know, it better works with me if you don't yell, but if you actually tell me you will be away for a while or something like that. And the final tip, for many of you it will be difficult to do that, but you know, maybe it will help if I told because I told you, and you will feel okay, I'm really free about, you know, free from that. You gotta know when it's time to move on. With some relationships and with some people, things don't change. Those of you who watch this are probably on a higher consciousness level, and you already read a lot of management books, a lot of books about personal development, about energy work, about relationships with other people. And those of you who watch this actually are taking, hopefully, active control of your life and your prosperity and your happiness. So for you, I'm not worried, because you will take action no matter how difficult it may seem in the beginning, because the first step is most challenging. But what I would deeply advise you to do is that you don't escalate your commitment, and you don't invest too much in things with, you know, encounters with people who don't give any sign of changing, because sometimes instead of trying to change other people, we want to change our circumstances and our environment. And sometimes people change if they realized they lost us, or they you know, our energy changed. We started working and you know, hanging out with people who are more creative and more innovative and closer to who we are than those people who are energy sucking out our energy. And all those things, you know, may be beneficial for you. And after a while, you're not, as we like to say, you're not Nutella. You don't want to be loved and praised by everyone. You want to be who you are, and that's the only goal worth pursuing. So I hope this was useful for you. Again, this video is 20 minutes long, but I'm sure it will be worth your time, because if you learn those things, and if remember you want to take gradual steps. If you were a people pleaser and you will constantly saying yes to all friends' invitations, to all parties, to all escapades, to all business opportunities they had, you know, I need your support, I'm starting this, would you be there, would you bring your friends? You know, if you were always doing those things and you had difficulty in finding time for doing what you love, this may be challenging for you. So maybe it's worth watching video again, or taking notes the second time you watch it. But definitely take action. And I thank you for watching this. If you liked it, share it with your friends. Suggest the topics you want to cover in next videos. Tell our community how you benefited from this video, or if you had some other techniques for showing, you know, for stating your personal boundaries, or for taking better care of yourself. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in our next videos. Goodbye.